What do you think is the importance of Vedic sciences in today's world?
Vedic sciences are extremely important, not only relative to their role from the ancient world, but also their role relative to the future and also to the state of the world and society today. This is because the Vedic sciences have always taken a universal view with a recognition that there is a single consciousness pervading the entire universe and also a single life force. There is one consciousness behind the minds of all creatures, but also pervading the universe as a whole and all the natural forces from the most subtle level to the highest cosmic level. And their universe itself is like a cosmic organism, what the Vedas call the Purusha, or the cosmic person. So the Vedic sciences introduce into science this idea of consciousness as a universal presence, this idea of an observer that stands not only beyond the body, but also beyond the mind, and the recognition that there is something that we can call universal self or cosmic intelligence, so that intelligence is not simply limited to we as human beings or to embodied creatures, but is something that is inherent in the fabric of the universe itself. And that is how intelligent life comes into being, because intelligent life is part of the forces of nature inherently, and so it will manifest in different ways. So this Vedic view of consciousness can help us bring a deeper level of understanding to all the sciences, whether it is biology, whether it is physics, whether it is psychology, whether it is medicine in all of its different forms today. And it tells us that we do not simply have to look at ourselves in an outer level, that there are inner tools that we have to gain mastery over our lives, and that our technology can be a tool of a higher awareness rather than a force that dominates us. The Vedic sciences teaches us that there is really no such thing as artificial intelligence. True intelligence is organic. There is information we can gain from various sources, but the deeper level of intelligence and insight must come from ourselves. And for that to occur, we as human beings have to cultivate our own attention, awareness, and insight through yoga and meditation. It is not enough just to rely upon machines, databases, and computers. We need an inner insight to use that information properly and to take our technology to a level that we are the masters of the technology, using it to further peace and happiness in the world, rather than we are driven by the technology into creating more weapons or more instruments of outer entertainment only. So that is the big challenge of our age, how to develop a higher awareness to use technology in the most humane and sustainable way. And the Vedic systems of knowledge and the Vedic sciences of knowledge help us do that. And we have so many of them that can help us, whether it is the different paths of yoga, Vedanta, even the Buddhist systems of knowledge, the sciences of mind, states of consciousness. These all have tremendous relevance. Namaste.
So there is left intellectuals say that there is no science in Vedas.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
Okay. The Vedas, okay. The Vedas are books of knowledge, but they are not books of knowledge simply in the sense of Western textbooks or textbooks of science, or books that are dealing with outer levels of knowledge only. So the type of knowledge the Vedas are directing us towards is different and also complementary. The Vedic idea of knowledge is that there is a knowledge of consciousness, a knowledge of self, awareness, and universe through which we can discover the ultimate unity behind all life and the universe as a whole. So that is an inner form of cognitive knowledge born of perception. It is not a mere conceptual or mathematical knowledge born of looking at things on the outside or measuring them through equipment. It is an inner experience. At the same time, that inner consciousness can help us deal with outer levels of knowledge as well that we are discovering through the science. Science is showing us new ways of observing, new ways of measurement, but in the end, the measurements seem to disappear. The time and space seem to be at the highest level gone, and we're discovering that in the universe we have a magical universe in which it's possible to transcend time, space, and causation. And what the Vedas teach us is that highest consciousness, which is inherently beyond time, space, and causation, is the very core of awareness within us through which the mind functions. It is not limited to the mind, it is the light through which the mind functions, which is inherently an awareness beyond the mind. So the Vedic sciences hold that type of science of consciousness with great detail, understanding, and rationality. But we cannot reduce that science of consciousness to mere brain chemistry or to mere outer energy patterns. And for that reason, some people say there's no science in the Vedas. But even the Vedas have a great deal of mathematics. The decimal system came from there. Concept of zero came from there. But they also recognize from the Vedic point of view that there is a vibratory intelligence behind the universe that is embodied in cosmic sound and also in cosmic numerical patterns, metrical patterns. So Vedic knowledge is an attempt to mirror and understand the universe not only on the outside, but also within us. So there are aspects of modern science in the Vedas, but there's also that deeper science of consciousness. And as we move forward, modern science is having a greater appreciation of the science of consciousness and an exploration and a looking to discover that. The Vedas can help us do that. So this is not to say you're going to find all the secrets of modern physics, biology, or chemistry in the Vedas. No, I don't think that is the case. But there are many key insights into how the mind, the consciousness functions, how we are related to the universe as a whole, the web of life, and the holistic forces that govern things, not merely phenomenal energies, but cosmic prana, cosmic intelligence, forces that pervade and underlie the universe as a whole and allow it to have integrity, coherence, and unity. This is what we can discover in the Vedas. So in this respect, Vedic knowledge remains at the cutting edge of science, and it has many secrets that can help us at many levels. At the same time, modern science illumines many areas that the Vedas just look at in a superficial or transient way, because the Vedic view is looking more towards the long-term, cosmic, infinite, and eternal, but this is also the ground of all existence.
So one more last question.
Yes.
Sir, Samuel Huntington,
Yes.
he says West is unique but not universal.
Yes.
Do you think Hinduism is unique and universal?
Yes. Yes, Samuel Huntington has said that the West is unique and not universal. Western civilization is a great civilization. It has mainly been developing in recent centuries, although it has an older basis. It also has a cultural foundation. But the Western view of civilization is more outward-based, more material-based, more exploring the outer world, and more analyzing, dividing, creating categories, differences, and distinctions. So in that process, Western civilization has given us great detail relative to science, technology, even economics and human behavior. But in that pursuit of detail and specificity, the Western civilization has lost a lot of the overall sense of universality, connection, oneness, and coherence. The unity of life cannot be measured as an object. The unity of existence cannot be seen as a particular form, structure, wave, or particle. So what India has preserved is more a universal view of life and consciousness. So we could say that the West is measuring the waves, but in the Indian system there's a recognition of the ocean. And the ocean has a unity and coherence, even though the ocean can produce any number of waves. Waves can rise and fall quickly or slowly. They can have bubbles, they can have different shapes and sizes of many, many different types, movements that can be measured, but the underlying ocean remains as one. So we need a vision that not just sees data, information, and details, but sees the underlying forces behind them. Take the human being, for example. We can measure each human being relative to brain waves, relative to the function of different organs, the heart, the liver, relative to size and weight. We can examine the human being relative to certain behavioral traits or jobs or finances and all those things. Yet behind all of that, there is a unique human being, and there is a human being that imparts unity to all these diverse functions of body, social activity, thought, and senses. So what the Vedic view recognizes as in India is that there is also a kind of universal person or universal consciousness that is linking all these diversities together. And even behind civilization, there is a common humanity and a common human striving, not just at an outer level of physical things and science and technology, but at an inner level of aspiration to know the infinite, to discover the eternal, to know the existential purpose of life. Why are we born? And that connects human life not only with other forms of life, but with a duration of life and a connection to the universe as a whole. So in this era in which the Western civilization is predominating, we need also to bring back that universal view. Otherwise, the civilizations will always be clashing because we're emphasizing their differences and diversities and details rather than their underlying connections. So we need to recognize that deeper human aspiration, which is not just towards more material things, but towards a greater self-understanding and a greater cosmic understanding or understanding of the universe as a whole. And that is the contribution of India's Dharmic civilization, which is not only in India, but spread throughout Asia through Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. Even these yoga meditation traditions are spreading throughout the world. Many scientists are being inspired by them. Many psychologists, even political people, even people in the business world, because these knowledge dharmic systems hold a broader, integral, and universal view that can bring together all these different layers and apparently conflicting aspects of human life and culture and bring back their underlying unity and harmony so that we can have not only peace between human beings, so that we can share our knowledge and culture and make the shared knowledge and culture on all levels and all societies a greater experience for everyone and a greater expansion of human well-being and the creation of a sustainable human society that also embraces the earth as a whole, the whole of nature, and also the entire universe. Because boundaries between countries are man-made, even boundaries between civilizations are man-made. There is a common planet and a common human being that we need to understand and address, and that requires a deeper level of examination of who we are and also what is the nature of existence.